What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars Exchange. It's been a while, it's been a few months since the podcast has gone live. I'm sure you've noticed there's a few differences going on compared to how the podcast used to be. I think I'll just spend the first few minutes running down what those changes are going to look like, and then I'll just continue with the show as usual. But I'm sure, as a lot of you would know, there was another co host on this show previously. Unfortunately, me and that co-host have had some creative differences, and we will no longer be proceeding or continuing our partnership on the podcast. I wish all the best to that person going forward, and but from now on, that this will be what the show looks like, and hey, I'm sure you all will appreciate that anyway, because more room for me to talk. So without further ado, I think let's get on with the show.
So you're
Whoa.
really not gonna mention me by name or anything, just some guy like, oh yeah, I wish that
What are you,
person all
bro?
the
This
best.
is so awkward. Get out of here, man.
No.
Let
I had
it
to
go.
come. I
Get
had to
out
come.
of here.
This what you just did is a morbid reality of what the show would look like without me, because no graphic design, awkward intros. Like you just had it all.
I think I forgot to remove you from the StreamYard. I should probably sort that out.
I came back. I'm sorry, but you're not continuing the show without me. I'm like, I saw that the little StreamYard logo like just popped up that the booth was open, that the studio was recording. I'm like, no, I'm gonna get ready, and I know what he's gonna do.
And you
So
just thought you'd jump in. Well, all
I
right.
I came to hash it out on the recording. So
All right.
I
Well,
don't know.
good to have you on last time, and we'll see you later. Good luck with all the best in your future. So all right. That's enough of that.
He just kicked
Hey,
me right
it's
out.
good to be back, man. It's good to be back. It's been a while. It's been 3-4 months. Life's been crazy. Both been working, both been out there doing stuff, and we haven't had time to podcast. And really, there hasn't been a lot going on that, between the writers and the actors strike. Hollywood kind of shut down for a bit there anyway, and I guess we just thought we will too, even though the strikes were going on when Ahsoka was on and we were doing that. But nonetheless, here we are. We're back. We're excited to be back. I hope did comment if we tricked you or not. Did we trick you? Probably not. Maybe so. I don't know. We just had that idea before we jumped on, so thought it would be funny. Maybe it wasn't. Probably wasn't. But at least we're making ourselves laugh.
Wasn't my idea. We can take credit.
Yeah. But yeah, Mike, buddy, how you going? What's going on?
Hey, yeah, I know it's been a minute. It's been what, since October, like 4 months, whatever. Yeah, it's been a minute. I missed this when I started setting up all my stuff. I'm like, oh, it feels like a weekly ritual and stuff. Like I miss doing this. I miss talking to the fans and our fellow fans, and then all the listeners of the show. Like I just missed it. It's always a good vibe talking about Star Wars, depending on the day, really, because sometimes it could get heated. But I just like the chill, laid back conversations that we have on here, um, and the people that we bring on. Like Parks is a constant, and I do miss all of that. But yeah, like it just feels good to podcast, and like obviously we're here to talk about something, but I like texted Ari right away, and I was like, dude, like we have to do something with that. Like we got to talk about it, just because we haven't done so in a long time, and you know life gets busy and for both of us and all that. So I'm just like, like I'm still a teacher, it's still going for me. It's been a lot, being thrown in and trying to do something that I wasn't really trained for. But it's been magnificent and life changing, really. And I just feel like I'm on a nice path right now. And yeah, that's what I've been doing. So I've just been teaching, doing all that stuff, hanging out with my friends, hanging out with my work friends, and life has just been busy where I haven't been able to post on Instagram or podcasts and stuff. But yeah, just enjoying life right now. The year, how old am I? 25. Year 25 feels so different than the rest. It feels like a culmination of everything and anything. And it just feels so, I don't know, it feels like every challenge is being thrown my way, but I'm making do with what I have. And I've never been challenged like this before. And it's just like so bizarre and crazy, and just trying to do my best out here. Like, just trying to do my best. Like, what can I say? But yeah, it's good to be back. Feels like you know when you haven't ridden your bike in a while, and you're like, oh, I think I'm gonna forget. Like, I don't know if I still got, like I still got I don't know, it's just, like, every summer when I would get back on my bike or every spring, because in Chicago, we have to deal with winters and stuff. We really can't ride our bikes in the winter like some of you guys folks and some of you folk in Australia. Like, we gotta wait till the snow clears, till it's nice out, till
Yeah,
all the
wow.
ice clears, and, then it's like, "Oh my I haven't ridden my bike in, like, in almost, like, a year, like, do I still know how to ride it?" And it's like, no, it just goes back into your, like, just like if you were I don't know, just it just fits right if you were doing it every single day, and that's what it feels like right now. Just getting back on the mic. So, yeah, it feels good. How about you, Ari? What you been up to, and, how you feeling how you feeling about this? And, yeah, like, it was scary. Like, I feel like I'm gonna go back and rewatch the beginning of this episode and be like, "Wow, I really felt like, we lost someone there." But, no, we're good, and the podcast is good. And how are you?
For sure. Well, first of all, good to hear all that from you. And yeah, it's been great seeing you out there doing your thing as a teacher, Mr. Rivera, as they call you. And yeah, it good. My like you don't give yourself enough credit, man. You're a great teacher. Like the stories I hear from you and from others is like, yeah, it's crazy. So you're out there doing your thing, and it's awesome to see, my man.
No, thank you.
Um, of course, yeah, no, likewise. I've been on like I feel like we've been sort of busy in that same sort of way. I've not become a teacher, if that's what you guys are wondering. But I did start up a new job. I finished off my second year of college, going into my third year next year, which is also my final year. So that's just been a whole thing getting that all sorted, and then yeah, just generally like I don't know, my lifestyle's just changed a little bit. I put up a little post on Instagram a few weeks ago just talking about like how I've been going, and I've been going actually really great because I've sort of I use like the Miles Morales leap of faith sort of I don't know, metaphor, I guess, to talk about how I've been going, because I did feel like a few months ago I did do that a little bit. I felt really like boxed in my house and locked up, and everything I did was like, oh, sorry guys, message. Oh, I've got a parcel coming today. That's good. It's actually a new headset. So this is the last episode with these headphones. Unrelated, but anyway.
Rip.
Yeah, no, I've been doing I just have been trying to sort of go outside my comfort zone a little bit, because like for whatever reasons, sometimes whether it's just laziness or if it's anxiety, like I can sort of just stop myself from doing things that I probably should be doing. Um, so yeah, all in all, I've just been trying to be a bit more courageous, take that leap of faith, go outside where everything doesn't feel like such an effort. Like whether it's going to the gym or going to a like a sport training session, or going doing a shift at work, whatever it is. In the past, that had felt so much like work to me, and I tried to do some work on myself to make myself just a more out and in the world sort of person. Like and I feel great because I feel like I'm living life a lot like more than I ever have really, which is a really good feeling. Um, and yeah, ultimately, like I'm out there more, like I'm working, I'm doing all that stuff, which in the past I just haven't been doing. So I feel good, yeah, and like mentally, it's one of the best places I've been. I've definitely struggled with anxiety and depression and that sort of stuff, but just you'd be amazed that just pushing yourself out there. So it's real difficult. It took me a few years out of high school to really do that, but I haven't, and I feel great. So that's a whole sort of spiel. But yeah, ultimately, I feel really good. And you know what? One of the big things was actually getting off online, and this podcast, our social media, that's all online stuff, and I had to sort of get away from that for a bit. It just to make myself feel this way, and I talked about how now I feel like I can go on there and because now I see it in a different way. It's not something where I feel like I have to go on every day and watch all my stories, look at all the posts, see every little bit of news going on, whether it's Star Wars or basketball, whatever it is. Like I don't feel like that anymore. I can just live a bit freer. And yeah, getting off social media is so great, guys. It's ironic because like we're literally on social media technically right now doing this, but that's the truth of it. And yeah, coming back to the podcast, it is great. It feels like the right time to do so. just with Bad Batch coming out and everything like that. And yeah, I think the both of us are just so like refreshed and just like ready to come on. And before we started recording, I actually read this review someone left on Apple Podcasts, which I thought was great. And they just talked about how they like our show because it's so laid back and relatable. And that's everything we strive to be. We don't want to be a serious show where we're talking about, this and this. And like, like if you watch our Andor reviews, half of it is us going, hold on, what's that character's name that starts with like we're just casual like that. So that's you guys are going to be getting more of the same, because that's what we want to be like. We want to be that casual show, laid back, people that people can relate to, where you can love or hate anything and no one cares. We're just here talking our crap. So yeah, it's good to be back, man. So yeah.
No, it does, and it's so crazy. Like we've been doing this. Well, we missed our 2-year anniversary for the podcast, like a month ago or 2 months ago. But it's just crazy, the journey that we've been on with this podcast and just friendship wise. Because just hearing what you just said there was like you just talked about your overall journey, and it's crazy because I've been there for like a huge chunk of it, and it's just like now that like time has progressed and you just talked about it like in retrospect, it's so like amazing, and it's just it makes me proud. It's like, yeah, like that's so awesome, like you went through all those trials and tribulations, and awesome that you get to be on the other side and talking about that and being like talking about how much you've improved and stuff, because everyone goes through stuff and battle. I've definitely been on that end too, and to see both of us come out the other side and just in doing victory laps is awesome. So yeah, like proud of you, and like it's just like, yeah, like the journey that we both have been on when we met in 2021 to where we are now is just astounding. Like it's just like we've definitely been through the trenches together, and I've definitely helped propel one another in
Absolutely
greater direction. So yeah, that is awesome to hear, and it just everything comes full circle, and it's like we were talking about the like when we started becoming friends, we were watching Bad Batch together at the beginning, like at the very beginning, like the first couple episodes are in the middle of the season, and now we're talking about the final season, and I'm just like, where and what is time? Like how like fast time goes, gearing up for Celebration Anaheim, gone. Like it's just it's happened, gone. Gearing up for New York and all our you know those side ventures we're gonna do, our adventures came and went, and it's like, where has time gone? Like it's just crazy. Time waits for nobody. So do something with your life, just do it, whatever, but get offline.
Hell
Get
yeah. Hell
offline
yeah.
for real.
Yeah. Yeah. I echo that for sure. And Bad Batch as well. We were in the room with each other when they were talking about season 2, and it hadn't even come out yet. Now we've lived through all of season 2, and now now here we are about to talk about season 3, which is awesome. And also worth noting as well, we're I guess we can just say now we're having another meetup in April, which is going to be awesome. So there's a convention in Chicago, which a bunch of our friends go to, which we're going to be meeting up at, which is crazy because we have episodes recorded last time we were together that we still haven't released because we've been on a break, and when we got back, Ahsoka started and all that sort of stuff. So I was just thinking today, like we plan this podcast in the morning for me, and it's almost evening now, and I'm like,
and it's 1 in the morning for me.
It's 1 in the morning for Mike. And I was thinking, oh my god, we need to put those episodes out that we recorded last time, because we're about to have a whole new batch probably. So anyway, that's something to look forward to in the next few weeks. We'll try and put those out for you guys for sure. But yeah, I guess we should start talking about the Bad Batch then.
Yeah, Bad Batch. New trailer dropped, or I should say, everything dropped. We came into this year, Ari and I were talking how we came into this new year wondering what the heck is going on with Star Wars in 2024. What's coming out, what's not coming out. We didn't even, usually when the year ends, and not that I would have this year because I've just been so off social media and just living life, touching grass. But like I didn't get a chance to like review all the stuff that was out there for Star Wars 2024. I didn't know what was going on, and I was just so out of the loop with everything. right? I was so out of loop with everything. I didn't know what was going on. So I don't know. Like I went to all these like sites and everything. I'm like, what is even coming out? I'm like, oh yeah, Bad Batch. Bad Batch is supposed to come out. Um, I don't know. Is that going to be later this year? Is that going to be May 4th? Is it going to be like last year in January? We hadn't heard anything. So then, just of course, in Star Wars fashion, on a random Monday night for the USA, random Monday night, it's like, oh, actually Monday afternoon, because I watched it at night after I got to school. I was like driving and I was like, oh, a trailer drop for Bad Batch? What? Like, so I was so unaware of it. Like, because I'm not on my phone at work, but or like, on social media and stuff. But anyways, yeah, so they dropped everything. They dropped the release dates, they dropped the trailer, they dropped what we can expect from the season. They dropped some heavy stuff like Asajj Ventress, and then they gave us the entire rundown schedule of all the episodes, which is rare. They don't usually do that. They'll say how many episodes, but they leave it to us to think, oh, are we getting 2 episodes this week, 1 week? Or they announce on their Twitter. They announce the whole slate. They announce what we're getting. I remember they did that for season 2, but it's just rare for these like Disney shows or Disney Plus shows for them to do that. So I was like, especially with the title and everything, I was like, what? So that is like super interesting. I looked at the list like briefly, but some of them definitely caught my eye, and I'm like, we have so much to do this season, but then I'm like, wait, we got 15 episodes. I really hope they don't screw around. But I mean, yeah, what was your reaction to like not even just the trailer yet, but like just everything that just came with like, oh my, okay, just random Monday night, bad or Monday or Tuesday morning for you, all this Bad Batch stuff. Like, what was going through your head? What was your reaction?
Yeah, similar to you, it just came out of absolutely nowhere in typical Star Wars fashion. I feel like we don't get any warning, which, I mean, that's fine. I'm happy for it to just come out of nowhere. But sort of like what you were just talking about, I was thinking about what's going to come out this year. Like I was watching a video about it, and there's the Acolyte Andor season 2, Bad Batch season 3, Tales of the Jedi season 2, Skeleton Crew. Like I don't know if I said that, but yeah, loads of stuff. And I was thinking, I have no idea what's going to come out, when it's going to come out. Like, and specific to the Bad Batch, I was like, this could come out December of 2025, December of 2024, or tomorrow. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen with it. So hearing this news was good to me because I was like, oh, awesome. We get some Star Wars in a month. When I don't know, for whatever reason, I just had the expectation in my head that we weren't going to see Star Wars on Disney Plus for a while. But no, really stoked, to be honest. This is potentially the thing I'm most excited for, like in the future slate of shows. I think the animation, like Star Wars animation, just is like so dear to like. I feel like people just I don't know how. I don't want to like categorize anyone, but I was going to say people like sort of around our age who did grow up with Rebels and Clone Wars. Not to say that younger or older people like can't enjoy it as well, because I know like everyone loves these shows, but I feel like generally speaking, with people our age, it's always like, oh, like they're just that they always go back to the animated shows. You know what I mean? So, that's just it feels like within Star Wars, like the animated shows really feel like home. You know what I mean? And then the rest is like going out and venturing. So super, super excited. I like that it's only going for 11 weeks. Like it's 15 episodes, but it's only 11 weeks. I think that's really good and something that has been lacking in the past. I also I like that they're dropping 3 episodes at once. And yeah, man, the trailer, I just thought it looked great. I thought it looked more of the same in a good way, though. It looks fresh and different, but it looks like it just looks like that same Bad Batch that we've come to love. So yeah, really psyched for it. We've got a lot to talk about, obviously. But something that is cool from a personal perspective for both of us is that the final 3 episodes, we're like going to be together for all of them, so we can watch the final 3 episodes of the series together, which is going to be great fun. But yeah, that's sort of my thoughts on just the general like Bad Batch announcement, I'd say.
No, yeah, I agree. That's gonna be so fun to watch that in person, because when we're watching the first season, we were watching it over Discord. I mean, I was watching on my TV and you're watching on your monitor, but we're watching it like together on Discord and like seeing each other's reactions or whatever. So it's so funny that it's like we get to finish this off, probably sitting down next to each other in one of my house's couches, and just that's just unbelievable. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this last season, and you know, um, recently, I've been in a Bad Batch mood because last year around this time, Bad Batch was coming out. So I've literally been rewatching chunks of Bad Batch here and there, but then it propelled me to watch Clone Wars. So I've been rewatching a whole bunch of random Clone Wars episodes, and the political ones have always been my favorite to get into on and during this free time. And just like, well, I have nothing to do. Let me put on one of those like really heavy Clone Wars episodes, or even the Yoda ones, but the Order 66 one too, and season 6, and I'm like, oh my god, Bad Batch just like takes that up a notch too, with all the clone themes and all the like mistreatment they got after the war, and it's just so ugh. And then it led me to watch the Crosshair episode in season 2, where he kills the lieutenant, and it's such a strong and it's just a strong and really poetic episode, and it leaves you at the end feeling so desolate and just so like so sorry for Crosshair, and it just all these mixed feelings too. It's like, really, now Crosshair, now is when you decide to do something, but it's just such a uh moment for him and the character that you're like, oh my, you can't help but root for him, like, oh my god, yes, like, yes, Crosshair. um and the story with Mayday, like that, what a great episode. I remember you and I were geeking out about it when it first came out. But yeah, like that, I mean, all in all, like season 2 was hit and miss for me, but at the end it had a very strong finish. And you know what we say, winning cures everything. So now we move on to season 3. Obviously the ending of season 2 left me shocked, and I was like, oh my god, I can't wait for season 3. So that's where we are now. That trailer, like, what, like, when did you watch it? Because you woke up and you're like, oh crap, a trailer.
Yeah, no, I saw it pretty much. Like I saw that it was out, and then I was like, I'm gonna like wait a few minutes to like properly wake up, and then after like 10-15 minutes, I got to watch it. And unfortunately, I clicked on YouTube to go see it, and then like the first video that popped up, like I saw Ventress was in the thumbnail, and I was like, ah, damn it, like I can't believe that just got spoiled for me. But I mean, my first reaction was like, holy crap, and then I was thinking, oh shoot, that's just got spoiled for me. But whatever, I still enjoyed watching the trailer a lot. But let's just talk about Ventress first, because that's the biggest topic of discussion. We'll get to everything else, but let's just talk about Ventress, because that's like just unbelievably huge news that she's coming back. We all thought, and fairly so, that she was done. She was dead. The only way we were really going to see her again is if they adapted that Dark Disciple arc onto the screen in Tales of the Jedi, or in like bonus Clone Wars episodes, or something like that. And yeah, I don't think they're going to do that anymore. I think they just thought, let's just throw her into Bad Batch. And initially I wasn't mad, but I was just like, oh, I just don't like this. Like, I like the continuity. I'm one of those guys, like, story, like good stories above everything else, but at the same time, I like adherence to the continuity. Anyway, so I couldn't get that off my mind. I was thinking, this is great, but also, and then I read on Styles.com that they pretty much like, and I love that they did this. They just got on the front foot and said, guys, don't worry. Like, you can go and read the article on Styles.com where they announced Bad Batch season 3. Go check that out if you're wondering what I'm talking about. But effectively, I think Brad Rao just says, one of the showrunners just says, we know Dark Disciple exists, and any appearance of Ventress in season 3 of the Bad Batch will adhere to that book. So essentially, to me, that's saying, like, we're going to explain it. Just wait for the show. You know what I mean? Like, that we're not just pretending that book doesn't exist. Which I'm like, okay, even if it's a corny, like, oh, we're resurrecting her, and like a Darth Maul situation where it doesn't really make sense, but you can just tell they really want to bring the character back. I don't love it, but I'm fine with it. If the story works well, which I have great faith that it will, I'm fine with it. Just go for it. Ventress is such an unbelievable character. She's a fan favorite amongst Clone Wars fans, that's for sure. And I'm so excited to see her again. I'm so excited to see her story continue, and it could open the door for a potential Quinlan Voss feature, which I would be so down for. And yeah, man, I'm just so excited to see Ventress again. I really wonder how she's going to play in the Bad Batch's story, because I feel like the Bad Batch is like, I like, I can see how those stories are connected, but I can also see how they wouldn't be in a way. So very excited and just so intrigued on what this is going to mean. But man, it's going to be great. Mike, how are you feeling though about Ventress?
I just want to say I manifested this 2 years ago when I was running a book club, and literally during this time we started reading Dark Disciple.
Oh yeah,
And we in the discussions of that we're always like, will Ventress ever be in live action, or I'm sorry, in animation again? And I was like, I really would love if Disney Plus did installments of like, hey, we didn't get Lucasfilm didn't get to do this. Now we're gonna provide for you guys. We're gonna do that finished arc that we didn't get to see, like the Lost Clone Wars episodes, kind of like what season 6 did, you know. But Bad Batch has definitely been the show where they just put in all this stuff that didn't get, you know, fit into Clone Wars. Really, they're like, oh, we could carry some stuff over, and you definitely feel that, you know. But it definitely has its own identity. But Ventress being there, I was skimming through YouTube because I'm not watching the trailer on Instagram, so I went to YouTube. I scrolled through my subscriptions, and I saw like Ventress on someone's like YouTube cover, but I didn't like it. Just registered like season 5 Ventress. I'm like, why are they talking about Ventress right now? I'm like, yeah. Well, anyways, so then I watched the Bad Batch trailer, and then I hear that voice. I'm like, oh, no way. Oh, is that Ventress? And then she comes up at the end, and I was like, oh man, that is so rad. So Ventress is one of my favorites. Like her arc in season 4 of going from Night Sister to this like really lost person, and then ending up finding her identity at the end and accepting for what she is about, you know, I used to be a lot like you, but I have a different path in front of me now. And I'm just like, oh, that's so deep, man. I love Ventress's character. But then that was like the last time we saw her in Clone Wars before we got like kind of like a different vibe to her, where she was like fighting Ahsoka, then with Ahsoka and like helping that out. And then obviously we read about her in Dark Disciple, and that was so good to read. Like it was like, oh my god,
yeah,
so great Ventress is here. Like so great we got to read and finish off her story because she deserved it. I'm glad. I remember the emotions I felt when Clone Wars was canceled, right? But then they were like, "Oh my God, season 6 is still happening. We have still stories to tell." I'm like, "Ooh, all right, that kills a bit of time. Like I'm sad it's ending, but we still got like a bunch more." But then once that ended, they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna start. Any unfinished story is gonna be turned into like books or comics," and that's when it killed me. I was like, "No, like Clone Wars, those Friday nights of watching Clone Wars were so special." Except when they move them to like Saturday mornings or something, but that was so sad. Like that was it just felt like that was like the nail in the coffin. It was like, yep, this show's dead, it's not coming back. When they were moving these stories into books and comics. So with Dark Disciple, it was very bittersweet to get it because I was so excited to read it, but I was like, oh, this means that now that it's printed, the story won't happen with Ventress on screen. So this to me is just like, I don't even care if they're retconning the book. I don't care if they're um, rewriting some assets from it, or if they're just like, oh, we're gonna align it with the book, and we're gonna make it fit. Yeah, whatever. I'm just so glad Ventress is getting her. I mean, we just went through so much with her in Clone Wars, and she had such a like great arc that it's like we never got to see the payoff of it really. Yeah, she helped Ahsoka, but then she got beaten down by Barris, and then she got choked out by Anakin, and then that was the end of it. Like we never got to see her, you know, like and like this other like fully formed her, or really like transformed of her new life. Like I was always left with that, like going back to season 4, watching that like end part, like I have a new path in front of me. I want to see it, you know. And you got a bit of that in Dark Disciple, the romance with her and Quinlan, but I really wanted to see like her thrive in something. But I don't know how they'll depict her in Bad Batch. But she looked great. She looked great. I mean, that is just awesome. I'm a diehard Clone Wars fan. I think we know this already, but that just makes like it. This trailer literally gave me the same exact feeling that I got when I watched when the Rebels season 3 mid season
Mm,
trailer, when we see Ben Kenobi at the end. Like I just got chills. I remember I was a senior in high school, and that dropped one December or January morning, and I was like, no way, oh, Ben Kenobi's on being Rebels, what? And now like Ventress is on being Bad Batch, what? Like this is crazy. Like I really have no words, but I watched that trailer and I just like felt like I was watching a Clone Wars trailer all over again, like when I was like, like a itty bitty. But yeah, just wow, like I'm excited. As you said, I'm glad they addressed like the controversy up ahead, and they're like, hey, like, you know, we're gonna honor her tale, and we're going to respect the stories that came before, and we're going to align this with Dark Disciple. We're aware that she suddenly, or they did some type of verbiage on StarWars.com where it was like, we're aware that she supposedly died or something.
Yeah.
So they were very weird with the verbiage, which made me think that she survived her injuries or something. But hey, man, I'm down for
I'm
it.
pretty sure Quinlan Voss buries her in that book. But
I
hey,
mean, like I said, that could have been at the end there. That could have been a Star Wars Visions moment, like, oh, in another galaxy far, far away, like a what if moment. But you know what? Like I said, I don't care honestly. Like usually I'm up for canon and oh my god, how dare they do this? But at this point with Star Wars, I just feel like they definitely structure it where film is superior. They've gone back to the cake way, the George Lucas way back when
yeah, the pyramid.
the pyramid. It's like
Yeah.
TV show, or I'm sorry, film, TV shows, the animated TV shows. Like it just feels like we're back to that.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what? Whatever. Like you guys have done your best, but obviously books and comics are down here, and all the other stuff is superior, and that's, I'll roll with it. I don't, at this point, it's all too much to keep up with anyway. I don't see how anybody, could keep up with anything. Uh, just do it. Just if you're gonna bring Ventress back, just be like, hey man, we're gonna cherry pick this book. I don't care. Like I'm for those that do and love your canon, like I hope it works out for you. But for me, that someone that used to like hold this, like I would hold the Bible. I don't care. I'm just like, do whatever. Like I'm, oh, you contradicted this comic book from Star Wars issue 54. It's like, yeah, great. I don't care. Like, it's gotten to that point with Star Wars. It's like great.
Yeah.
So, but Dark Disciple is such a good book. I recommend you read it. Read it now. Read it before Bad Batch. I might do a little reread of it. But yeah, this is awesome. Like I'm so curious how Ventress will run in with the Bad Batch. Is that flashback scene? Are they doing? Did she actually live? Like I'm so like they're like the what's the guy? Brett Rao.
Yeah.
Brad Rao, the supervising director, was like, yeah, we don't want to spoil anything, so you're just gonna have to wait and see. And I love that as you said, they addressed everything, and they're like, well, we don't want to spoil what the reveal is, so you have to wait and see. And we are going to wait and see.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm right there with you. I like all your thoughts. I'm not as um not caring anymore about the continuity. Like I definitely understand your approach, and I agree. Like I think that, like, man, I'm a comic guy. Like 2 years ago, I had read every single Star Wars comic. Now it's like for me to catch back up is just feels like an impossible mountain to climb. And I'm like, I love that we get all this content, but I wish it was just more plausible for like your everyday person to be able to keep up with, because like both of us are like crazy Star Wars fans, and we can't. We're not even close. You know what I mean? So it is annoying. So yeah, I guess in saying that, that is why the books and comics can sort of be looked down upon, I suppose, within the canon. But I mean, Dark Disciple was one of the first books to come out in the new canon, and
Yes.
the story is it's not written by Dave Filoni, but he and the Clone Wars team worked on that story, and all the key pillars to it. That I'm almost certain remain the same in that book. So, and it's a great book. It's one of the few Star Wars books that I've read twice. I've read it again because of Mike's book club. So yeah, like I don't want this to become a regular thing. But I have really good faith that they're gonna make it work. It might be a stupid explanation, but I'd prefer that than no explanation.
Right.
And just a complete like retconning of that story. Like, give me the stupidest explanation possible. Oh, Mother Talzin came and lifted her body up from the grave, and then she was fine. I don't care. Just make it work. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's sort
No.
of my opinion on just. And admittedly, I'm biased because I just love Ventress so much that I'm just like, yeah, just bring her back. If she had like, if it was Fives, I would be like, whoa, no, he got a perfect ending and everything on the screen. But Ventress, it feels like she's deserved of some justice. She needs a finished arc. Not
Yes.
even that they're going to finish her arc here, but she needs in some form. She needs that on the screen. So that's why this time around, it's like, yeah, we can definitely pass that because I'm my girlfriend recently watched the Clone Wars and she loved Ventress, and then she was like, "So what happens with Ventress?" And I'm like, "Oh, like you have to read this book." And she was just like, "What?" And then I was like, "Do you want me to just tell you?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah." She just dies at the end of the book, and she was just like, "What?" Like felt so ripped off, and I was like, "Yeah, like why wouldn't you feel that way?" So yeah, no. All in all, it's great. Like I think I don't honestly I don't know what the reaction has been online. I watched Styles Explains video and he seemed pretty happy about it for the most part. I saw a few reactions online, but really I don't know what the general reaction is. But I know like from both of us, it's overwhelmingly positive. And it's going to work in favor with this season. It's just like I was already looking forward to so much just the story of the Bad Batch characters, and that's it. Throw this in there, and I'm like, hell yeah, because as much as this is the Bad Batch and I want that to remain the focus, this is undeniably a continuation of the Clone Wars, similar to Rebels, where, you know, Rebels still centered so perfectly around those characters. But when Ahsoka and Vader came into the story, that was dealt with perfectly. They didn't steal the spotlight throughout the entire season. They just kind of dealt in the background. And then obviously there was that huge moment at the end of the season where they did sort of take over for a second, but I think it was warranted and it worked with the characters and everything like that. Anyway, point is, I hope that she's works well within this story. But
And
I have faith.
and a light bulb just went off in my head or above my
Yeah.
head. I was like, wait, this is so cool. If it works out this way, which I think it will, but going down the thinking line that she survives, right, from the events of Dark Disciple. But how how awesome would that be that we met her in the Clone Wars movie and the subsequent Clone Wars episodes where she just is like slaughtering clone troopers to
Oh,
now freeing
I know
and
what you're gonna
defending
say.
them.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that is just chilling.
Chills,
That
chill.
would be like the full arc completion, right? That just, I mean, just like visually, it's like, oh my gosh, she
Yeah,
went from killing all the slaughtering the clones in the most brutal way to like fighting for them and freeing them or whatever she's gonna do. Like
that is
that would be
some
so
character arc. Like,
awesome.
wow.
That
Yeah,
is so awesome. And then a fan service moment of fan service for me would be like, get Barris as an inquisitor in there and have Ventress
yeah.
kill her.
I was just thinking about that. I didn't go that far, but I definitely thought about Barris. But the thing is, the only thing I'm worried about is I want to know so much about Asajj. Was it Bad Batch? That Bad Batch has done episodes, right, where it's like, not the Bad Batch. Am I tripping? No. Sorry, I haven't engaged in sales in so long. My brain's not working right. But sort of like the way that the Book of Boba Fett, the way the Mandalorian just takes over that show, like I know he takes over the rest of the season. The way he takes over that episode, I would be so fine with. Yeah, no, it is the Bad Batch season 1, Ryloth. That episode, I would be so fine with them doing that for Ahsoka, where like the Bad Batch pop in maybe, or like in the episode for a second or maybe the end, but that like initial Asajj setup episode, like it's the second episode that brings the Bad Batch into it. The first episode just sets Asajj up, and I would be so fine with that because I want to know so much about what's going on with her. What was her reaction to Anakin killing Dooku? What was her reaction to the Clone Wars? How does she feel about Barriss? How does she feel about
Yeah.
Quinlan Voss, Obi-Wan, all that stuff? I want to know what is going
Yeah.
on with her. So, man, I would love if she got just an Asajj episode. I don't think that will happen, but personally, I want to know so much with what's going on inside her head, and
Yeah.
just yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Because then if she's also on the run, again, thinking that if we're thinking that she survived, if she's on the run, she's also a marked target of Order 66. So she's
Yeah.
also on in
True.
exile and
Yeah.
stuff. So interesting stuff.
Yeah. Also, we haven't even talked about it, but how fresh is the look? That was how she was meant to look in
Yes.
Dark Disciple. The hair, the yellow
Yes.
lightsaber. Oh
Just
my god, she
oh
looks
my
so good.
and I remember watching Rebels and hearing the voice actress's voice be the voice of the
Yeah.
temple in
Yeah,
season
yeah, yeah. I
2, and
was
I
thinking
remember
about
I'm
that
like,
today.
"Is that
Yeah.
Ventress? Like, is Ventress connected to this?" Like, and I thought about that today, but I was like, "No
Dude,
way."
that's crazy that you thought about that because I don't know why, but in my head, I was thinking about that too. And then I even went as far to be like, because in Rebels, it's like, I think Dark Disciple was out at the time that that episode came out. And it was like, no, it can't be Ventress because she's dead. But then my brain this morning was like, well, maybe it could have something to do with Ventress
No,
because
and
she could be alive there.
I literally went through that whole process in my
Yeah,
head. Yeah, 100%.
that's crazy. Awesome. Well, yeah, that I mean, she's Ventress talk is going to take up majority of this podcast, and rightfully so, because like that, I can't get over how like I can't overstate how big a news this is. Like this is huge news that she's
Yeah.
coming back. A fan favorite, a main character from Clone Wars, is finally coming back. Like pretty much, I think it's like more than 10 years later, in terms of on the screen. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
It's 14 years almost.
yeah,
That's
it's
insane.
it's awesome. But let's talk about the actual characters of this show, the Bad Batch, and what the trailer looks like for them. I'll have to pull the trailer up to sort of look through some specific stuff, but some things that I did notice. I didn't actually notice this. I saw this in some breakdown videos, but Crosshair is straight up like with the team in a bunch of the shots. Did you see this?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Not surprised, but I'm surprised that they put it in the trailer because 'cause they're
I know,
usually
me
very good
too.
about hiding stuff like that,
Yeah.
but he was just bland in the back or right there in the background with his old armor, and I was like, "Interesting, interesting." So I was, like, surprised by that,
Maybe it's
but
not what it seems though. Someone's just wearing that armor or like, maybe because as if they're that stupid, right? As if they're that stupid to just put him there.
I don't know. We've seen odd moves by Disney marketing,
It's true.
but I don't know, I feel like that is Crosshair. I don't think who else would it be unless they're trying to throw us off, but, I don't wanna look too much into it because it doesn't turn into another, like, "Oh, we thought it was gonna go this way." I think it's Crosshair. I'm gonna take it for what it is. But yeah, I'm not surprised by that move. We all thought that he was gonna, like, come come back, but his redemption arc looks a bit different than a lot of the characters that we've met in Star Wars. It seems like it's a longer way, but
Yeah.
yeah, all the way. All the crosshair stuff is what got me through season 2. I would like it would
Oh
just be
yeah.
like crosshair episode. It was like feeding time, and then it was like oh break. Oh, we're eating stale stuff. Okay, we're getting there, getting there. Oh, we got crosshair, oh, and then it would just be the end, the fuel to get through the season. Except those two banger episodes of Admiral Rampart and the Camino storyline. That was
Hell yeah.
awesome. And which
Yeah.
that bounty hunter's back too. Like what's going on there? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So Cad Bane, Fennec
Oh
Shand,
yeah.
and Wolf as well. Wolf
Yep.
was in the trailer. What are your thoughts
Yep.
on that?
When I saw, I just seen some Wolf episodes in Clone Wars, and I remember I'm like, oh, he's gonna be in Bad Batch, and to see him there walking alongside the Imperials, I'm like, no, Wolf, like you gotta join, because I thought we were gonna see the Wolf that we kind of saw in Rebels, but like just a little bit calmed down, not the riled up Wolf that we meet in Rebels. But I thought that Wolf was already aligned with Rex and stuff. But I guess we're gonna see that, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kind of in a
And
similar
yeah,
way.
worth mentioning as well, of course, Rex is going to be in season 3.
No, but that I mean, yeah, that Wolf seeing Wolf again, I'm just like, oh man, and the armor looks so clean. It looks like genuinely feels like Clone Wars has never stopped. Like I remember that dark moment that Clone Wars stopped for a couple of years, but then it's just like, but then Rebels came around and we got like some continuations there, and then ever since then it was like, oh, then Rebels finished. 2 years later, we're getting a trailer, or a year later, we're getting the trailer for um literally a year later after Rebels finished, we got a trailer for Siege of Man or the final
Mhm.
season of Clone Wars. And then
Yeah.
it's like, oh my god, then it's just nothing but
And then
nonstop
Bad
Clone Wars
Batch.
of
Yeah.
Bad Batch, Chosen Jedi. So it feels like we'd never left. So seeing Commander Wolf again though, it's like it feels like we're back in Clone Wars season 4 with him rocking up with with Plo Koon on some random planet that just had an earthquake. So I'm excited to see what they do with Wolf and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to think of what else was there in the chat. Oh man, this is like sort of side note, but when they were like, oh, like the brothers we've lost along the way, and then it goes back to Tech, that was a chilling moment for me. I forgot how powerful that that I suppose death sequence was. But yeah, honestly, I am gonna I was telling Mike today when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh my god, I just want to rewatch all of Clone Wars and all of Bad Batch, but realistically I'm not going to be able to. But I do want to rewatch at least season 2 of Bad Batch before season 3 and working up to
Definitely.
that one
it's a lot. It's a lot to get through. And I literally was like, I had the intrusive thought of, because I was really sick over the winter break during our break session for school, and I was like, I had the intrusive thought. I'm like, should I watch Clone Wars in chronological order? Wait. I should watch Tales of the Jedi in chronological order, or whatever episodes match up with Clone Wars. Then go to Clone Wars. Then go back to Tales for the Ahsoka episode, and then watch Revenge of the Sith, and then go to Bad Batch, and then it will take me to the lead up of Bad Batch season 3. But then I'm like, let me wait for the release date of Bad Batch season 3, and then I'll get going with this marathon, only to know that it's like less than a month
away. Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I'm gonna pick and choose which episodes I rewatch, but I'm definitely gonna rewatch a whole bunch of the Ventress episodes from Clone Wars, if not all of them, and then watch Bad Batch season 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, true. Got to watch Ventress episodes too. Another thing I was we also saw Omega in that what's it called, the Dr. Pershing Camino outfit type thing, which was interesting. And we saw her and Crosshair like walking past each other in there. Oh man, I'm just so excited to see that. Like, I remember when Bad Batch season 2 ended, all I could think was just, oh my god, I just want to watch the next episode of this show so badly. So really excited to see that. What do you think of like what's going on with Crosshair, Omega? They're going to be in there breaking out, all that sort of stuff. What's going to happen?
It's crazy because I remember being like I felt stunted when season 2 ended literally on the same shot as season 1 on Mantis? Mount Tantis. I'm combining those two. Mount Tantis. And I'm like, what the heck did we do? I'm like, we just ended off on the same kind of type note that we ended off in season 1. I was like, okay, this is interesting. I definitely like season 1 better as a whole than season 2, but it just ended on the same note. I'm like, okay, like, what do we do from here? I mean, it's the stakes seem higher now, but Omega's captured. I'm like, what's the point of this? So, I'm really very curious to see Crosshair and Omega reunited again. Who breaks them out? Like, was that a misdirect in the trailer when that clone bounty hunter was like, oh, they're all coming for you guys now? It's like, was that a misdirect? Did the Bad Batch hire like Cad Bane and Fennec to break Omega out of the Mount Tantis or something? Or did Nala Se hire Fennec Shand again to rescue Omega? Maybe it's Fennec that breaks Omega out of prison. But I'm like, oh my god, this seems like a big and I love that Rex was talking about Omega being like, oh, she's been waiting for us for a long time, or whatever, or one of them said that, but like there's like an emphasis on or focus on Captain Rex, and I'm like, oh man, like he seems like he's gonna be a lot more in the show this season, and it just made me think of Omega seeing she looks a bit older and her hair grown out. I'm like, oh my god, how much time has passed? Like 6 months, a year, like, because time is irrelevant in the show. It never it's like a random moments and doesn't feel like there's a consistency sometimes. But this is one where I'm like, oh, we're gonna definitely do kind of a bit of a time jump, and yeah, it just looks crazy. And with Crosshair, I don't know. I really think that him and Omega will find their way back to the crew. I don't think we even saw Echo in this trailer.
No, we did once.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, it's like I don't know at what point, like, are we gonna find out what the doctors want with Omega, or what Palpatine wants with Omega?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say the next talking point is Palpatine, right? He's saying like, I can't remember the exact line, but it was something like this clone project is like crucial for the future of the Empire or whatever. And
yeah,
you got to think that's something to do with
Exegol.
his cloning, like Exegol, right? Like that's the
Yeah.
only like big cloning thing that's really in the future.
Not the
Um,
Mandalorian, because we thought that was gonna tie into Snoke or something, and it was like, oh, Moff Gideon's clone army. But yeah, no, I forgot.
what if
It
it's
feels like
that?
a
What if
few
it's
between.
that? That that's it. The cloning Moff Gideon.
Oh, please. But I mean, I that would be really cool if they did that. I think that's where we all think that they're leading to. But
Yeah.
um, I think that I'm just so curious to find out about Omega's sister and um
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
yeah,
Forgot about
that
her.
was a random drop at the end, being like, "Oh my god, you just went through so much loss. Well, guess what? I'm your sister." It was such an Empire Strikes Back ending, like it literally was.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm like so curious. I don't know. I don't want to over theorize, but I'm just like ready, like to jump in, and
Yeah. Three
I don't know.
episodes as well to start us off. How good's that?
3 episodes.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
like a movie, man.
insane.
I'm
That
so excited to sit
that
down and just like re-engage. And oh my god, if it disappoints like the season two
oh
finale, season
please,
two, sorry, no, season two premiere, I'm gonna be flat because that was
please,
the worst Star Wars animated premiere we've ever had. The
please,
rest of the
yes,
season definitely went up from there, but oh man, that those first two episodes were not good. So let's hope
please.
that this time around it's not that.
That was even the Resistance openers were better than that. I don't know what that was. That was I don't know. I will say about Bad Batch though, like season two, like it serves such as like an ASMR show for me. Like
I
visually,
feel
it's
that.
great. Even though I complain about like the animation that I was tired of it, I kind of am, but I mean visually it just looks great. It looks stunning, and then the sound quality is so good. Like the sounds are just I don't know. Sometimes like there'll be moments like minutes where you're just hearing nothing but sounds or like shuffling, and it just sounds so good. Like the Foley artists or Luke Skywalker sound like they just do such a good job at the sound, and the voices sound so clear and crisp. Like everything just sounds great. So I just love throwing that on, and it just feels like so like high production.
Yeah,
So season three, like the visuals, like we were saying, like look great and with Ventress and then the ATTEs and the gunships that were coming down. And then there's a tank scene where I was shooting all these missiles and I was like, what is going
yeah.
on? This looks amazing. But definitely looks like we're getting the Clone Rebellion in this
Hell yeah.
season. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so much to look forward to. That's pretty much everything from the trailer. It's gonna be a great ride. We haven't actually really talked about how what we're gonna do in terms of covering it. We're in whatever way that is. Assume that we will. We'll be talking about it here in one form or another, which we're both looking forward to a lot. And yeah, that's really the discussion. That's our return episode. We're not really sure what we're going to be doing in the future. I know in the next few weeks we're going to try our best to release those pre-recorded episodes. Um, but trust me, they're fun. Both of them are really good fun episodes. So look forward to those. And yeah, Mike, any more thoughts before we wrap it up?
The release schedule, I just want to say,
Oh yeah.
thank God that they
Oh yeah, yeah,
decided to release a whole bunch of weeks where it was like, oh, we're gonna release 2 episodes this week, 2 episodes this week,
yeah,
because what a drag it was last
yeah.
year.
I talked about
Um,
this earlier when when you couldn't hear me, but yeah,
what a
absolutely.
drag it
Yeah,
was when it was like, and I also feel like also hope that the Asajj story is 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 layered and it just doesn't feel like a cameo like the Gunji episode. I like the Gunji episode a lot, but it just felt like, hey, we need a Wookiee Jedi. Here he is.
yeah, yeah.
It feels so surface level. And then when you watch the stuff that they do with Crosshair, it's like, oh my god, like do that. But it's like do that for not just Crosshair, but for everyone. Because the
Yeah.
Gunji episode, we were all looking forward to it, and it was just like it just felt like flat soda. I was like, it's
Mm.
kind of got a kick, but
I
I
mean, I like that episode. I'm gonna be real, but
no,
yeah,
I did like the episode too, but it's just like I felt
I
like
also like flat soda though. So what do I know?
yeah, what do you know? But I really hope that Ventress doesn't feel like a cameo to me.
Yeah,
Um, and like I said, the release schedule, thank God, because last year, It just felt
Yeah,
like we were
11
on
weeks. 11 weeks is a lot better than
that.
16 or whatever it
I mean,
was.
now, I mean, back then, for when we were kids, of course not. It wasn't. It didn't feel like that long because, like, we had school and everything, and yeah, the days go by fast when we have work and everything. But like back then, it was just so different because it was like you had other things to watch on TV and even though you were looking for specific programs, like there was not only does this show come out on Friday, it's before the Clone Wars comes on. It's Generator Rex or Ben 10, and I'm gonna watch that first and then get to Clone Wars. I'm gonna get the appetizer, then get the main meal. But with doing that now in the streaming era, it's like, yeah, sure, it drops at 2 a.m. Guess what? It's gonna sit there and you can do whatever you want with it. But then you're gonna have next week's episode to watch. And some people just bulk it up and save it and binge it, and that's fine. But it's like I just feel like like Bad Batch would be better served if they served these out in batches. Like, oh,
Mm.
here's 3 episodes. Here's
Oh,
three
me too.
episodes.
I've
These,
been saying you can go back and listen to other podcasts.
yeah,
I said ages ago I want them to release it in 4 weeks, 4 like that.
you have said that.
Yeah,
See, like Mandalorian, I'm like, yeah, keep that one episode per
mm,
week because some of them, well, not season 3, but they would be plentiful and stacked up that you can be
yeah,
like, oh yeah, that's gonna take a while to suggest. I would even say like wait 2 weeks before the next episode. But with Bad Batch, it was like it just felt like every week we were getting like that chopper episode from season 2, and it's like I got nothing. It was
yeah,
fun, but I got nothing. And
yeah.
then
I
and
got you.
then once in a while you will get that Shroud of Darkness episode with Bad Batch, and it's like, oh my god, where is this?
Yeah,
It's like you could give me 2 weeks to the next episode, but then it's like the next week it was just like some weird episode about finding treasure in a tomb or whatever. Just blah. Anyways, so I really, really hope that they figure that stuff out and they keep us entertained. And I really hope there's no um filler episodes because while they can be fun, there's some episodes like that tech episode when they were, I think, the crossing,
Mm,
and then the one afterwards, yawn. That could have been one. That could have been a sitting. That did not have to be separated by weeks. That could have been one sitting. That
yeah,
let's get this over with. So, anyways, that's my spiel. Those are my final thoughts on the Bad Batch stuff. We have stuff coming that we just touched the surface on all this stuff right now. Like
yeah.
I can't wait to dig deeper into all this stuff as we go on.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and we'll continue to do so. When, who knows, but subscribe, stay tuned, and it will pop up on your feed when it's ready. So yeah, make sure you follow us on Instagram at the SW Exchange. We haven't posted there for a while, but I'm sure we'll get back into that when the time comes. Make sure you all subscribe on YouTube, like I just said. If you're listening on an audio platform, subscribe or follow. Give us a 5-star rating. Really, really, really helps us out. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. We'd also really appreciate that to expose the podcast to more people, get a larger base of Star Wars fans listening to our laid back Star Wars discussions. So yeah, that's all for this week. Appreciate everyone listening, and if you guys sticking with us, if you're still here till the end, or if you've just visited back again after our small hiatus, we appreciate you sticking around and being patient with us. We really appreciate it. So we'll talk to you all very soon. But until then, may the force be with you. See you later.
Adios.